How is everyone doing today? And in this video, I want to talk about, of course, our brand new character that just came out. And I wanted to put some summon footage here of me pulling right when she came out. I was trying to record it. I thought I was recording, narrating like I was recording it. And when I ended up getting Rappa real early, I noticed on my OBS didn't hit the play button or the record button, so I'm kind of upset that's the case. But I did get Rappa very early, and I also got her like cone slightly early, just because I did go like a couple multis in, got Japar's like cone, then got Rappa's like cone. But realistically, today's video, although yes, there has been multiple early access showcases already, there has been regular showcases already, I do want to talk about Rappa specifically because I do think there are some things that are glaring when it comes to not only her pros but also her cons as a break character. And of course, she has a lot of competition against those who are around her, like Boohill, like Firefly. We have a bunch of other things that we need to talk about as well with this MOC, and we're just gonna have to look at all the different things I want to talk about in regards to Rappa. But overall, Rappa is a really nice character. She's a very strong one at that. We are going to be rocking her at 5999, and of course her relics are going to be the break set stuff, and she is rocking a 160 speed, 203 break effect with 3000 attack, which, hey, I'm not gonna lie, I think my Rappa's pretty good. I think, let me know if you have a better build than me so I can be mad. But let's go ahead and go into MOC and start off with something that I do want to talk about, and it's something I never expected. Although she has a way to circumvent this, I think it's a little bit of a problem for her, which is Rappa is a break character without weakness implant. And this is a little bit of an issue to me specifically on Rappa. I do think Rappa is still a really good character regardless. I think she does a lot of damage, and we're gonna have to showcase her off doing so. But actually, let's go ahead and get straight into the showcase. But realistically, looking at Rappa, she is the only break character as of right now that is a 5-star, I want to specify, that doesn't have weakness implant on the element that she is, which is something very important in a lot of the break characters. Firefly has her technique, which implants everybody with fire, which is why it's such a good technique. And then Boohill does the same. He has weakness implant on first skill and weakness implant on ultimate. So for the amount of damage that they're doing, that's a really good thing for them, because that makes it guaranteed that you will be doing the damage. Now, realistically, a lot of the MOCs that will happen from now up until the future are going to be imaginary weak. There will be some type of imaginary weakness enemy in the two halves of MOC, and this is going to help out Rappa. Is going to allow her to do so much damage. It's not even going to be funny. But the problem with her not having weakness implant as a break character is that the one thing that Boohill and Firefly had that made them so good that they could be used on any level that they wanted to be is that they have a way to weakness implant someone at any point in time. Boohill with his ultimate, Boohill with his skill on his technique, Firefly on her technique giving everybody fire implant, which is absolutely insane through every wave. And then you also have her implanting it again if you use her skill when she's in her ultimate. That's all really good stuff, because not only gives you a crap ton of damage from break, it lets you delay them easier, it lets them do a fat ton of damage. There's a lot of stuff that come with breaking with a character like Firefly and also a character like Boohill. For someone like Rappa, she is going to struggle a little bit, because yes, although she doesn't have weakness implant, she does have some form of toughness reduction no matter the element that you are. So if you're wind weak, you're quantum weak, you're any other type of weak that's not imaginary, she still has the potential to destroy the shield, because she can do damage to those that don't match imaginary. But that's not going to be anywhere near the amount of toughness reduction you would have done if you were to have a weakness implant or weakness on you, period. And we're gonna go ahead and use her ultimate, which I do think the extra turn mechanic is just so cool for her. It doesn't mess up your action value. You get to keep going, and we get to go 1, 2, and 3. That's 664k. Holy crap, that's a lot of damage. And both of these guys are down. They also have the imaginary break on them, which delays them even more, which is playing really well into the break archetype already. So that's one really cool thing about Rappa, is although not damage wise are you going to be doing a lot in terms of the break, the delay that you're getting from Rappa is actually pretty good, because not only are characters like HMC delaying, you have characters like Rappa again being able to delay with her break, with scaling on break effect. And then not only that, you also have the delay from REHOO, so you just have them in infinite stun for a very long time. And this is going to be it for these guys right here, and we still have one charge and another ultimate on the way. Something really good with these characters, especially Rappa, is that if you do somehow end up in a situation where you have a lot of enemies that are imaginary weakness, where you have a lot of smaller enemies next to a boss, Rappa can easily break all of these guys and get a lot of energy back to the point where she's able to go ahead and use her ultimate very quickly and get off way more damage, especially because she puts herself at the very top of the action line and she doesn't replace where she's at currently in the line of all the characters taking their turn. I just think realistically it is a really nice character when everything lines up. Weakness, enemies of imaginary, you have a lot of enemies on the field, really good stuff. And also that this is a break dedicated boss, because realistically having the exo-toughness, that's also another thing to talk about. Having the exo-toughness, having all the enemies share the same health bar, it is really super beneficial for someone like Firefly, Boo Hill, and also Rappa. So realistically, looking in the future, and let's go ahead and see the damage here real quick. That's not doing anything, but we did get the breaks off. And then now everyone's taking a lot of damage, I'm not gonna lie. Now realistically what we might do is pop another Rappa ultimate to get jumped up top with her damage, and we can go into the next phase, and this is where we're gonna do a lot more. 1.4 million, holy crap, that's a lot. But talking about exo-toughness, exo-toughness is definitely going to be something that we will be waiting for in the future, because realistically having this extra meter to break, or having this extra possibility to break once more, is not only a huge damage boost, but it's going to allow you to get so much energy for characters like Rappa, where she's getting energy based off how many characters you're breaking, which is really good for her specifically, and also can be really good for characters like HMC, because he also gets more energy based on breaking, which is a really nice thing to have in a lot of these characters that are coming out. But going on to say, Rappa is a really nice general character, especially when looking at all that she can do. Sadly though, I think Boo Hill and Firefly are well above her, just because they have the weakness implant so ingrained into their kit and is very smooth to work around, especially if you understand the character, that Rappa takes a little bit more work if you're not going to be using someone like or not going against an enemy that's already imaginary weakness. One thing I could see in the future is a break centered support that's basically Silver Wolf. I could see that happening in the future, where it's like whoever's the DPS, whoever is, you know, part of the break archetype, they start giving characters tags or something, I don't know, and there's no weakness that matches them, added to every enemy on the field. That would actually be not gonna lie, really broken. But having exo-toughness and having something like that would definitely be a big boost to a lot of characters, especially someone like Rappa, who kind of wants there to be way more characters that have the same weakness as them, because that allows them to do so much more damage. It's not even funny. And I do think we should be fine to, yeah, we should be able to clear off everybody on the field with this and get that nice 0 cycle. And we already had another ult ready. That's the really cool thing with Rappa. If you have a fast enough Rappa and you're getting off those kills with her, she's gonna have so much energy she can just spam her ultimate, which she's basically in at all times. So it's a really cool thing. Rappa's really strong, but right now in this MLC there's a lot of stuff buffing her up, because we do have exo-toughness, which is a really nice mechanic for break characters, and we also have the choir for her as well, which is the break centered boss, because everyone has their own toughness bar, adding on the exo-toughness. And then not only that, you also have all their health bars connected, which makes it super easy to take them down. I do think realistically that Rappa is really good in MOC whenever there's imaginary weak right now. Realistically, if we were to look at it in the future with no exo-toughness, let's say the same team, Linksha, HMC, and REHOO, and then we go forward and look into another MOC without imaginary weakness and keeping the same team, no exo-toughness, I do think it's going to be a little bit harder for Rappa to do her job, especially getting as much energy back and also having to deal with all the enemy shields without that implant. I do think having a break character with no implant is a little bit of a weird choice to do, unless they plan to make a support that implants for them, which I don't know if they're ever going to do that. That would be a little bit broken to just straight brute force no matter what, but I guess that is what the break team has always been, a brute force team. So you want to do whatever content you want regardless. But looking at MLC, she can perform 100%. She does the damage even if there's not that many enemies on the field, which is a really good thing. As we've seen with the first wave of MLC 12, we had the two little elites at the very beginning before we got into the choir, and they were melted very easily, especially because they have the weakness already onto them. There was a lot of damage that came from that. She can do damage to very few enemies, which is a really good thing and something that isn't going to hinder her to the similar fashion that someone like Argenti would suffer if there were less enemies on the field. So that's a really good thing for her to have. She doesn't suffer from the same curse of erudition that a lot of us have been used to, but she is in a weird spot with not having weakness implant when all of her other competitors do, and all of other competitors have a different way to speed up the process of breaking the enemy and being able to do a fat ton of damage doing so. There's a lot of weird stuff happening in regards to Rappa and what we could potentially see in the future. But realistically, I do like Rappa a lot. I really love her character. I think she's really strong. But when we take away this weakness, when we take away their exo-toughness, where does that leave her? I would really love to wait and see how that's going to be. Let me know how you're enjoying Rappa, or if you're skipping for Ting Yun and Sunday, because I know those are going to be very exciting characters. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll wait in the video. See you on the next one, and peace.